It's a typical day on the TLC farm. Babies and toddlers can be found anywhere and everywhere. In the garden, the kitchen, the nursery, the bathroom, and the toilet. With 50 babies and toddlers to care for, the activity never ceases. Thea Jarvis, founder and director of the Love of Christ Ministries, is already up and busy, bathing one of the delicate premature babies.
You can see the numbers of prem babies is shooting up because the mothers are now sick, they're dying, and if they're pregnant, then their bodies aren't coping just with the ravages of AIDS on their bodies, and pregnancy, of course, just puts that absolute limit onto it. So all the babies now that are being born to AIDS moms are being born at 7 months. Every single one that you look at individually, you think, well, he's going to do okay. Yeah, I see a strong man coming out of this, and that's the mother heart, you know. Yeah, there's going to be a strong man, and that's what makes it so painful when they die. We had one die on Monday morning, and she looked like she was doing fine. And we've got lots out there who've been adopted who are big and strong now, who were just like this. Lots.
Thea started the ministry in 1993 from her house, at the time a modest suburban home south of Johannesburg, when she realized the problem of abandoned babies was not being adequately addressed. Poverty-stricken mothers, often suffering with AIDS, especially in more recent years, would give birth and then, in desperation and ignorance, leave their babies anywhere, in ditches, rubbish heaps, toilets, dustbins.
To see children suffer has always been, to me, an unacceptable situation, you know, especially with, I mean, you know, you hear stories of child abuse and all that kind of thing, and it's everybody says shame, it's a terrible thing, and to me it's more, I don't sleep from it, you know, it really affects me.
And so, despite having 5 of her own children, Thea began taking babies into her home and caring for them. She also managed to place many babies with other families in the community. After 5 years, her family had grown to 24, and space was at a premium. Then one of the many blessings to grace the ministry occurred. Her church helped her acquire this farmstead, which gave them much-needed space. Thea and her family soon realized, however, that changes would need to be made in order for the ministry to function efficiently. With whatever resources they had at their disposal at any given time, they set out to improve things for the children, the volunteer helpers, the permanent staff, and for themselves. One of Thea's daughters elaborates.
In the last few years, we've just grown by leaps and bounds, and the facilities are so much more geared to what we were doing, and also have enabled us to increase our numbers. We've got a really beautiful ablution block, and we've got, you know, that bathroom is just perfect for what we do. It's designed for what we do. Our nurseries are more than functional and more than adequate. They really give a homely feeling for the babies. And then obviously our volunteers have had to increase because of the numbers of babies we're taking, and that has meant we've managed to build another cottage. And our staff are very happy with their new servants' quarters. Our kitchen is nearly ready. You can't calculate how much value you can do with the right resources.
Not everything went so well. One of the ministry's outreach programs, the feeding scheme for the poor children of the neighborhood, had to fall away due to lack of resources and manpower. A few hungry children still come to the farm for food.
I come here because I'm hungry. I come here to ask some food.
I worry that we can't do enough. It's always a great tragedy to me when I walk down the street or drive down the street and see how many people I'm not helping. And if we had the resources, we could do so much more, because we have the expertise and we have the heart. We just don't have the finance, and you can't do anything without finance in this world, unfortunately.
You just have to keep doing what you can with what you've got, and knowing that at least the ones that you're reaching, you're making an enormous difference to.
One thing Thea finds particularly heartbreaking is the plight of the biological mothers of the babies. She would love to be able to build a hospice on the property so that those mothers who are suffering with AIDS can be properly cared for and also be near their babies.
How do you say no to somebody who is dying and they don't have anywhere to go and nobody to love them, and to give them that dignified and safe passage to the grave? It's terrible to see people dying in shacks and in dog kennels and things because they've been thrown out by their families. At the moment, the mommy is too sick. She goes off to plan A, and the baby has to come to us, and they're separated, and it just adds to all that inability to get closure in her life, you know, because she just loses all the way down the line, and it grieves me that that's happening to people.
Pippa has been caring for one of the mothers in her home. It's not the ideal situation, but at present, there's no alternative.
She's taking care of me, even if she have to go to work. It doesn't matter to her. If I wake her, anything I need, I tell Peppa. She do it with a smile.
It's not ideal as a hospice to have, you know, have somebody dying in your home, basically in your bedroom, you know. She really needs some medical care, because we feel sometimes we make her suffer out of our ignorance and really our love for her, but we don't really know what the right thing to do is.
One of the biggest successes of the ministry has been the school.
See the clouds on top of his head? It's cloudy outside, but it's still hot. Are you wearing jerseys? No. Are you wearing hats and gloves? No, so it's still hot.
This beautiful schoolroom has recently been built. Plans are underway to build 3 more classrooms, a hall, a science and computer lab, and a library.
Our school has been a wonderful blessing, and the children have shown real developmental progress in being at home and being schooled according to their needs and their situation.
The greatest advertisement for the ministry is the volunteers, past and present. They've come from all over the world and worked here for a period of time, and then returned home and paid tribute to a ministry which gave them the experience of a lifetime. The current team of volunteers is no less enthusiastic.
I'm from Canada, and I've been here for 2 months. I came in the middle of January. I'll be here for 6 months. This is just something that I've always dreamed of doing, is coming and working with little babies, and I love them. It's very hard work, harder work than I expected, I think, but I love it so much.
I'm Scott from Australia, and I arrived about 3-4 weeks ago, and absolutely loving it. It is very hard work, but the babies are absolutely beautiful, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I'm from Belgium, and I am an exchange student. I came here because I wanted to do something for children who have heads or who don't have parents. Tomorrow is my last day here. So I will miss them so much. I really love them.
I'm a sick children nurse, and I think I work hard and a lot in Germany, but since I came here, it was such a hard work, but you do a good job, and so I think it's a good time that I was here. Yeah.
Some of the volunteers are South African and have been coming on a regular basis for several years.
Oh, there we go. There we are. Take off your sandals. Murphy just loves sandals, huh? Murphy just loves shoes. I remember the old days where we bathed them all in Thea's bathroom. bending over the bath, all these children going home exhausted with sore backs, and this is such a pleasure now. I mean, it's so civilized. I do feel it very sad that they don't have their own mums and dads and this, you know, the individual love and care and attention, but I think they are blessed that they can come here. And I mean, there's so much love here. It's just wonderful.
Oh, I love it. I started coming once a week, and now I come twice a week because I just love these babies.
Whatever the difficulties, the dilemmas, and the daily problems of a ministry like this, those who are deeply involved cannot imagine doing anything else.
There's an analogy that says that there was a little girl who was standing on the beach and she was throwing these starfish in that had come out as a result of a storm one by one into the ocean, and an old man came to her and said, "You're wasting your time." And she said, "But to the ones that I save, I'm making the world of difference." And I hold on to that on days when I'm feeling overwhelmed, because the need is great and we could never reach everybody, but we're doing our little bit and it's all I can do.
As far as the direction my life has taken, I'm very happy and I'm so fulfilled in what I'm doing.
I wake up every morning knowing that this is what I was meant to do and that what I'm doing every day makes a difference in the lives of people, and that for me is my greatest joy.
Forget about the buildings, forget about the money, forget about everything, but there are 370 little lives that have been saved, that are in good, strong adoptive homes, apart from the ones that are here. And they've got families and they've got futures, and that makes me feel delighted. Because I know that God is interested in those children, and that's what makes me just think everything is worthwhile.